Ever wondered how to make learning easier for your child? Well, the answer might be simpler than you think, and it's been around for centuries. It's called mnemonics. Mnemonics, a term derived from the ancient Greek word mnemonikos, which means of memory, are tools designed to assist the brain in retaining information. They're like a secret code, a mental map that transforms complex information into simple, digestible, and memorable chunks. Imagine you're trying to remember a long grocery list. Now that's quite a task, isn't it? But what if you could turn that list into an amusing story? Suddenly, remembering becomes less of a chore and more of a delightful game. That's exactly what mnemonics do. They tap into our brain's inherent propensity for patterns and stories, making the task of remembering facts and figures not just bearable, but enjoyable. Now, when it comes to children, mnemonics can be a game changer. For young minds that are constantly learning and absorbing new information, mnemonics can transform the learning process. They can turn the chore of rote memorization into an engaging and creative activity. Consider this. Children love stories, they love songs, they love colors and patterns. These are all elements that can be incorporated into mnemonics to make learning more enjoyable and effective. From learning the alphabet to mastering multiplication tables to remembering the order of the planets in the solar system, mnemonics can be used to teach a wide range of subjects. Moreover, mnemonics don't just make learning fun, they also make it stick. Research has shown that information learned through mnemonics is retained far longer than information learned through traditional methods. So, not only will your child enjoy the process of learning, but they'll also remember what they've learned. In a nutshell, mnemonics are a powerful tool to enhance learning. They tap into our brain's natural storytelling capabilities, transforming the mundane task of memorization into a vibrant and engaging experience. Unlock your child's potential with the power of mnemonics. But why do mnemonics work so well, especially for children? Let's dive into the science behind this remarkable learning tool. Our brains are essentially wired for narratives and images. You see, when we're presented with plain facts, our brains process them in a linear, one-dimensional way. However, when we use mnemonics, we're essentially transforming these facts into a story or an image, something our brains are naturally equipped to handle. Think about the last time you read a gripping novel or watched a captivating movie. You can probably recall the plot, the characters, and even some specific scenes in vivid detail. That's because your brain has an innate ability to remember stories and images. So when we use mnemonics, we're essentially tricking our brains into treating the information we want to remember as a gripping story or a vivid image. Now let's talk about why mnemonics work especially well for children. You see, a child's brain is like a sponge, ready to absorb information. However, their brain is not just absorbing information passively. It's actively seeking out patterns and connections. It's trying to make sense of the world. Mnemonics help children make these connections. They provide a framework that helps children organize and structure the information in a way that makes sense to them. They transform abstract concepts into something tangible and relatable. For example, consider the mnemonic for the order of the planets. My very eager mother just served us noodles. This simple sentence transforms the abstract concept of the order of the planets into a relatable story. The child's brain latches onto this story and remembers it, making it much easier for them to recall the order of the planets in the future. So, what's the bottom line? Mnemonics are not just a clever trick, they're a powerful learning tool that leverages the natural strengths of our brains. They transform the abstract into the tangible, the complex into the simple, the forgettable into the memorable. Harness the science of memory to make learning a breeze for your child. So what types of mnemonics can you use to boost your child's learning? Well, there's a fascinating array of techniques to explore. Let's dive in. Firstly, we have acronyms. Acronyms are essentially short forms made up of the first letters of a series of words. A classic example that might ring a bell is ROIGBIV, which stands for the colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. It's a fun and easy way to remember a sequence, isn't it? Next up, visual imagery. This technique involves creating a mental image to help remember a piece of information. For instance, if your child is learning about the water cycle, they could visualize a cloud crying to remember that precipitation is when water falls from the sky. It's a simple yet powerful tool that taps into our brain's natural love for images. Then there are rhymes. Rhymes are a fantastic way to make information stick. I'm sure we've all used I before E, except after C, to remember a tricky spelling rule. Rhymes work by creating a catchy rhythm that makes the information more memorable. Another type of mnemonic is the method of Lotzi, or the memory palace. This technique involves associating information with specific locations in a familiar place, like your home. For example, if your child is trying to remember the planets in our solar system, they could associate each room in your house with a planet. Mercury in the kitchen, Venus in the living room, and so on. This technique is a bit more complex, but it's incredibly effective once you get the hang of it. Finally, we have songs. Who can forget the alphabet song? Tunes are a great way to remember information because they combine rhythm, rhyme, and melody, making the information more engaging and easier to recall. Each of these mnemonics has its unique strengths and can be used in different learning contexts. The key is to experiment and find out which ones work best for your child. Remember, the goal is to make learning fun and effective. So, choose the mnemonic that suits your child's learning style best. Scene script. Ready to introduce your child to the magic of mnemonics? Let's dive right into it, shall we? The first step towards teaching your child mnemonics is choosing the right mnemonic. Now, this might sound a tad complicated, but it's quite simple. The best mnemonic is the one that resonates with your child's interests. If they love animals, choose a mnemonic that includes animals. If they're into sports, weave in some sports-themed elements into the mnemonic. Next, you will need to explain the chosen mnemonic to your child. Remember to keep your language simple and your tone encouraging. For instance, if you've chosen a mnemonic to help your child remember the order of the planets, you might say something like, let's imagine a story. It starts with, my very energetic mother just served us noodles. Each word's first letter stands for a planet, from the closest to the farthest from the sun. Now on to practicing the mnemonic. This is where the real fun begins. Make it a game. Encourage your child to recite the mnemonic every day. Reward them when they get it right. The idea is to reinforce the mnemonic in their memory through repetition. But what if your child struggles? Don't fret. Revisit the mnemonic. Maybe it's too complex, or perhaps it doesn't resonate with your child's interests. Don't hesitate to create a new mnemonic. Remember, the goal is to make learning fun and engaging for your child, and finally, be patient. Learning takes time. Your child might not remember the mnemonic immediately, and that's okay. Encourage them to try again. Praise their efforts, not just their success. To sum up, teaching mnemonics to children involves choosing the right mnemonic, explaining it in simple terms, practicing it regularly, and most importantly, being patient and supportive. With patience and practice, your child will soon be a mnemonic master. What does teaching mnemonics to a child look like in practice? Well, let's dive right into some concrete examples. Let's start with vocabulary. Imagine your child is learning the word astronomy. A mnemonic for this could be a star to remember on my yard nightly, which breaks down the word astronomy into a memorable phrase. Each first letter of the words in the phrase matches the corresponding letter in astronomy, making it easier to remember. Next, let's tackle multiplication tables. Do you remember the struggle of learning the 9 times table? A handy mnemonic for this is to use your fingers. Hold out both hands in front of you, fingers spread wide. For 9 times 3, for instance, bend your third finger down. You have 2 fingers before the bent one and 7 after, giving you 27. Now let's move on to historical dates. Let's say your child is learning about the Great Fire of London, which happened in 1666. A simple rhyme mnemonic could be, in 1666, London's fire did tricks. This fun rhyming sentence can help your child remember the year this significant event occurred. Another example could be for remembering the order of the planets in our solar system. A well-known mnemonic is, my very eager mother just served us noodles, where each first letter stands for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And finally, let's consider spelling. Who hasn't struggled with I before E except after C? This classic mnemonic is a staple in English classrooms around the world, helping children and adults remember this tricky spelling rule. In each of these examples, the mnemonic provides a bridge, a way to connect the new information to something familiar. It makes the learning process more interactive, more engaging, and most importantly, more fun. And when learning is fun, it sticks. So remember, whether it's for vocabulary, multiplication tables, historical dates, the order of the planets, or even tricky spelling rules, mnemonics can be a powerful tool in your child's learning journey. Mnemonics make learning interactive and fun. How can your child practice using mnemonics at home? Well, let's dive into some practical exercises that your little learner can do right at the comfort of your living room or their cozy bedroom corner. First up is the name game. This is a fun and effective way to remember names. Ask your child to associate a person's name with an image. For instance, if the name is Rose, they could imagine a beautiful rose flower. This exercise not only boosts memory, but also ignites creativity. Next, we have the grocery game. This is a perfect exercise for the supermarket or even when crafting that at-home shopping list. Encourage your child to use a mnemonic device to remember the items on the list. For example, if you need to buy milk, eggs and bread, create a silly sentence like "monkeys eat bananas." The third exercise is the story chain. This can make remembering a sequence of items or events a breeze. Ask your child to create a story that links all the items together. For example, if they need to remember the planets in order, they could create a story where "My very energetic mother just served us noodles" stands for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Last but not least, we have the rhyme time. Rhymes are a classic mnemonic device and can be incredibly fun for kids. Challenge your child to come up with rhymes to remember facts. For instance, to recall that 30 days has September, April, June, and November, they could use the rhyme "30 days have Sept, April, June, and Nov." All the rest have 31 except Feb alone. Remember, these exercises can be easily incorporated into your child's daily learning routine. They're not just effective, but also make learning an enjoyable process. After all, who said education has to be boring? So, let's make learning fun and memorable with mnemonics. Practice makes perfect, and mnemonics make practice fun. What are the long-term benefits of using mnemonics for learning? That's what we're going to delve into in this segment. Now, we've already discussed what mnemonics are, the science behind them, different types, and how to teach them to children. But why go through all the trouble? Well, the benefits are manifold and can have a profound impact on a child's learning journey. First off, mnemonics enhance memory retention. When information is tied to a visual, a rhyme, or a catchy phrase, it becomes more memorable. The brain loves to latch onto patterns and associations, and mnemonics provide just that. It's like giving your memory a boost, enabling it to hold on to information for longer periods and recall it with ease. Secondly, mnemonics can significantly boost confidence. When a child sees that they can grasp and remember complex information with the help of a simple technique, they feel empowered. This confidence in turn fuels their motivation to learn more. It's a positive cycle of learning that can set them up for success in their academic journey and beyond. But it's not just about memory and confidence. Mnemonics also make learning more enjoyable. Let's be honest, lists of facts or dates can be dry and boring, but when you turn that into a fun rhyme or a vivid image, it becomes a game, a puzzle to solve. This playful aspect of mnemonics can foster a love for learning and make it a less daunting task. Furthermore, mnemonics are applicable across various subjects. Whether it's history, maths, science, or languages, these techniques can be adapted and used effectively. This versatility makes them a valuable tool in any learner's arsenal. Finally, the benefits of mnemonics extend beyond the classroom. They can be a valuable tool for lifelong learning, helping individuals remember important information in their personal or professional lives. So there you have it. Mnemonics are not just a learning tool, they're a gateway to enhanced memory, boosted confidence, and a more enjoyable learning experience. They're a simple, effective way to make learning stick. And who wouldn't want that for their child? Mnemonics, the secret to happier, more confident learners. Ready to transform your child's learning experience with mnemonics? We've embarked on quite a journey today, delving into the fascinating world of mnemonics. We've unraveled the science behind these powerful memory aids and explored the different types that can be employed. We've gone through a step-by-step guide on how to introduce your child to mnemonics and even provided practical examples and exercises to kickstart their learning journey. Remember, patience is key. Like any new skill, mastering mnemonics takes time and practice. It's okay if your child doesn't get it right the first time. Encourage them to keep trying, and soon enough they'll be using mnemonics like a pro. Mnemonics aren't just about assisting memory, they're about empowering children to take charge of their learning, to find joy in acquiring knowledge, and to realize that they have the power to conquer any academic challenge that comes their way. Empower your child with the magic of mnemonics. Happy learning!